Vietnam, to pass a torch around America, to rekindle the spiritual values upon which the country was founded. And it was received profoundly by the people of my country. It touched something in their hearts. It was a mythic act. It was a mythic act of aspiration. And 9,000 miles of nonstop running later, having been received by the governors of all the states, the president, we were in downtown Manhattan in New York City, at a place where our first president was inaugurated, George Washington, and we were extinguishing the fire, and a spiritual download, inspiration, entered me, and it was, pass a torch of peace around the world, bring the world together, and see if you can create peace on earth while the torch was traversing the planet. And further, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to create peace on earth. So that was 50 years ago, and I'm still standing, aspiring to this great aspiration. So today I want to share with you where that aspiration planted in my heart has landed 50 years later. So, our president, John Kennedy, said, "We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. This is the greatest adventure humanity has ever been on." And I want to just suggest that the greatest adventure humanity is on at the moment is to actually create peace on our planet. So what does it take to create a moonshot, a peace moonshot? Well, it takes audacity, the willingness to dream the impossible. It takes audacity. It takes imagination, the willingness to imagine the impossible becoming possible. It takes tenacity. It takes lots of effort and trial and error to make this happen. So that's what it takes. And what we've developed is a concrete roadmap for creating a culture of peace by the end of this decade. And I want to share with you that roadmap. So as I mentioned, this plan is based on the 1986 passing of the torch of peace around the world. Well, 1 billion people watched this torch of peace traverse the earth. We partnered with ABC Television, United Nations Children's Fund. 25 million people participated, 45 leaders of the world. And for 86 days, wherever the torch of peace went, there was peace on earth. And I saw the possibility of something extraordinary being possible. So, our moonshot builds on this knowledge, builds on this learning, builds on this experience of mobilizing at this level of scale. So, hang on as we take you on this ride. So it has 3 parts. The strategic plan, if you will, has 3 parts. It requires personal transformation. Ron Nyberg spoke about behavioral change, how important it is. It requires community transformation. The compassion movement has been seeding the field for this kind of transformation now for some time. And Christina Gonzalez has been helping build that, as have many of you, over this last decade or so. And lastly, it requires an understanding how to mobilize a global movement, something I have some experience of, so that we can get alignment on a new dream for humanity. And we know the current trajectory isn't viable. The polarity on our planet is not viable. The sense of dystopia is not viable. We need a better dream for our world. So, let's start with the first part. How does one shift hearts and minds? How does one shift hearts and minds? Well, it starts with the individual cultivating practices of peace. Not just aspirations for peace, but practices of peace. And so we have built something we call the peace game. The peace game. Many of you have heard about it because I've had many of you in my peace game classes over the years. We built an app, and that app is centered around 7 transformative practices. Those 7 transformative practices have evolved from what created peace on earth for 86 days. It isn't just something that I created out of my mind. It got created out of observing what enabled the world to be at peace for 86 days. So what happens is that people participate in their own lives, they practice this in their own lives, and they start to transform. This isn't a game that you play just for fun, although it can be fun. You play to transform so you can become a practitioner of peace in your own life and your communities. About 3,000 people so far have played the game. There's about 70,000 peace actions they've taken, 608 cities, 67 countries. Mexico is one of the most engaged countries around the world. So that evolves into something we call peace zones, peace zones. So a peace zone is where you start to evolve from individual practices to a community transformational journey. And right now, the idea is that we are building peace zones all over the place. And wonderfully enough, one of our great partners, and David Eaton was honored for his Rotary engagement, is in fact, hey David, Rotary. They have been our partner now. They've been our partner now actually for 40 years. Because when we did the first Earth Run, they were a major scaling partner, and here they are again. So now they're helping us get these peace zones built all over the world in Rotary-based communities, among other partners. We've had about 70. So peace zones is where you transform a community and you reweave the social fabric. You bring together the public, the private, the civic sector. We honored the public sector earlier. This conference is being brought to you through the support of many private sector businesses, and then, of course, the civic sector, of which many of you are part. So that's peace zones. The goal is to scale this up to 10,000 cities. Why 10,000? Because that's every city on the planet. And the idea is to build what we call new social norms, new ways of being in a city. When you start operating from the practices of oneness and unity and cooperation and abundance and love and faith and empowerment, the 7 practices of the peace game, you start to have a different culture, and you start to transform cultures, and people start reacting to one another and engaging with one another differently. So that's the idea, and our Empowerment Institute supports those cities. Again, a shout out to my partners Rotary with a grant from a Rotarian who's helping scale these peace zones. So that's peace zones. The third part of the vision is igniting a global movement, getting enough people in the world to believe that something this audacious, this transformational, this, I don't even have a word for it, this aspirational could be possible. And so how does one build such a movement? One of the things I learned from the first Earth Run is you need to tap a different part of the psyche. You have to tap the place where people touch a mythic place in their beings, the heart. not just the mind, not just the aspiration of a belief system, but the heart. And so we're building a mythos. We're creating films, and we're creating a torch relays again, and we're creating all kinds of ways to tell the story. So that's the key part of it. And we want to involve every organization. I am hopeful that everyone here will want to be part of a Peace Moonshot. If you could be part of a Peace Moonshot, who would want to not be part of that? And you represent organizations that might want to be part of that. We would welcome you. And by the way, there's no cost associated with any of this. It's all being subsidized, so people can just operate from their hearts. So when you bring it all together, and again, Ron Nyberg spoke to this earlier, you start to look at how one creates tipping points. So when I did the first experience in 1986 of passing the torch of peace around the world, I realized I had to learn a lot of things to get to the next level. I had to learn about transformative social change. I had to learn about the science of tipping points. I had to learn about behavioral change, community transformation. But one of the things that has been most helpful for me is learning about the science of tipping points. Because what a tipping point tells us is that a very small number of people can have a huge impact. So in a community of 100,000 people, 1/2 of 1% is 500 people. On a planet of 8 billion people, 1/2 of 1%, which is the tipping point for shifting consciousness, is 40 million people. These are not large numbers. We had 25 million just in the first Earth run. So we can achieve these tipping points. So the goal is to establish 10,000 cities and engage 40 million people. And if only 25% of Rotary said yes, we get to peace on earth. If any number of different groups come forward and say yes, we get to peace on earth. So we've built something to enable that called the Peace Zone Leadership Corps. And the Peace Zone Leadership Corps is a 6-month training program that's subsidized for people that qualify to build a peace zone in their community. We're having a meeting on Saturday with people who want to build a peace zone here in Monterey. You have to be sponsored by a community, you have to apply, and if you're accepted, then you go into this training program. We have the good fortune of it being underwritten by Al and Nancy Jubit's charitable fund of the Rotary Foundation. And so applications open on December 1st for those that might have interest in this. So let me say a few things in closing. Is it possible? Yes. Is it achievable? Yes. Do we have the elements in place to make something like this happen? Yes. Will we be successful? It's really a function of whether people say they care enough. They want to act on their good will. They want to make an impact in the world. And if people say yes, we can actually transform the world. So I want to end today with it's like we're going through my slideshow in reverse here, in case you missed anything. I want to end today with a brief meditation. It's 2030. Close your eyes and step into the future. It's 2030. It's actually December 31st, 2030. And communities all around the world are operating in a different way than they've ever operated before. People are befriending the other, people that they had normally othered because they were different from them, because they had a different religion or political worldview or ideology or ethnicity. They're befriending them. Organizations that normally were just doing their own thing, siloed, are now cooperating. and achieving things that no one could have ever imagined possible. Nonprofits are working together. Businesses are working with government. Governments are working with nonprofits. And extraordinary things are being achieved. The issues that we thought were intractable are being transformed now in communities. People are being generous. They're giving their time and their money to help make their communities better. It's an extraordinary thing that's happened on the planet. And mostly, people now have a different world view. They see the possibility of living with one another, not in this adversarial way, but in the truth of who we are. We are at one with one another. That's our human condition, if we just step into it. So experience that sense of oneness. Experience your community at peace. Experience your community as a zone of peace. Experience the way of peace. Experience peace in your hearts, peace in your spirit, peace in your mind, peace in your body. This is our birthright.
Ok, ahí está. Entonces vamos a dejar este micro aquí y hay que ir por otro.
How many of you are willing to help create peace on earth? May I see your hands? Thank you.
Ponte los audífonos.
God bless you. And I wish you and all of us a great journey to create the new world that we know is possible. And I am grateful for the opportunity to share this dream with you. I hope I have many more people holding this dream with me. Thank you.
Quiero agradecerle su presencia aquí en Monterrey y que nos esté acompañando también mañana en un taller de hora y media en Sintermex para quienes quieran conocer más de este proyecto. No, perdón, él va a dar toda la mañana. Es un taller largo, pero vale la pena escucharlo y todo lo que se ha hecho en otras partes del mundo de su trabajo en ciudades y en otros también en otros países. Así es que gracias. Thank you very much for being here.
Christina, thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow then in Sintermex.
Oh, by the way, may I say one more thing? Yes, tomorrow I have a workshop. It's 9 to 1, and we'll be simulating the creation of a peace zone. So if any of you are inspired to bring this to your community, please come, and ideally come with other members of your community so that you can actually have the experience of what a peace zone can be. So 9 to 1, I look forward to seeing you then and helping create peace in our world. Bye now.
Gracias, muchas gracias.